Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 287 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble!
And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you guys so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Be sure to click all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, all of those buttons, smash them so that you don't miss anything we have going on with How About That Cigar. Raleigh, how you doing this evening?
I am tired.
Tired as
I spent the last 3 days smoking my ass off in Virginia at Brett J's Tobaccology Boil. It was a blast. Let's see some friends that you haven't seen in a year.
Nice.
But it was fun. I'm just not as young as I used to be.
We never are, brother. We never are. Let's bring on our fantastic, incredible producer, Justy Smoke. Brother.
Welcome, buddy. Welcome.
Hiya.
How are you doing today?
What's going down?
Living the dream. Living the dream. I mean, we're doing an episode of How About That Cigar Live. So,
okay.
You know.
Is it your dream or his dream?
It is the dream.
Okay.
Dream.
The dream. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the dream. It is the dream. So
there was something last weekend.
The NFL draft.
NFL draft.
Yeah.
Draft. What is this draft you speak of?
It was interesting. I mean, I didn't pay super. I used to like watch all the NFL draft and all the picks and all the stuff. I just don't have time to do that anymore. I don't want to give time to doing that anymore. But I follow. You know, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, so I followed who the Packers were drafting. I think they had a pretty decent draft overall. And for the first time in 23 years, the Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round.
And he's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Matthew Golden from Texas.
Pretty good. I was not happy with that pick.
I think he's because, you know, Jordan Love's a good quarterback. He's still got a lot of work to do. But he's a good quarterback. But he never had one of those receivers that was truly just a full-on, long-run downfield threat.
Before, I'd say 4 games in the season, he'll be the number 1 receiver there.
He might be.
He's good. My Jets.
Yeah, how'd your Jets do?
They sucked. Their draft wasn't incredible, but they got a lineman, which helps. The Giants had a really good draft.
Yeah, I heard the Giants did well. I heard Jacksonville did well.
And the Vikings did okay, I think. They got a lineman.
Yeah, from the little I know, I think the Vikings did all right. Yeah. But so
you know who had a bad draft? The Bengals.
Oh, did they not do well?
They needed to get some linemen to save that wonderful quarterback of theirs.
Well, I mean, he's, you know,
Joe Cool is a shit, but he needs some help.
He's a handsome guy, but he needs protection.
What about the Panthers?
Panthers, I honestly
they suck.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the Panthers.
No. Are they is it the hockey Panthers, Florida Panthers?
No, they're as far as I know still doing just fine.
Football? Oh, okay.
Speaking of hockey, the Wild, I'm surprised. So in the Stanley Cup finals of Stanley Cup playoffs against the Vegas Golden Knights, they actually have the series tied up 2-2. I am surprised. I did not expect that at all.
They should be 3-1.
Yeah,
that last overtime goal was bullshit.
But it's surprising that they're 2-2. Mm-hmm. What's not as surprising is the fact that the Timberwolves are up 3-1 against the Lakers. Yeah. I'm not really surprised by that. The Lakers are, you know, do I think the Timberwolves are going to make a run and win the championship this year? No, but the Lakers, getting Luka made a lot of press and sold a lot of tickets, but did it actually make a difference enough to make that team great? No.
I think LeBron should finally retire.
I don't know. I feel like he's going to keep playing until his legs fall off. And he'll keep whining until his legs fall off. But that's enough about LeBron. The Minnesota Twins, they were awful. They were absolutely awful. And they might still be, but they've won 6 of their last 7 games. And the Twins absolutely tore up on the Guardians today. 11-1, I'm pretty sure it was. 6 players on the Twins roster today had multiple hits. So that feels pretty good. And Bailey Ober on the mound was insane for the Twins today.
Were they using the new Yankee bats?
I don't think they were using.
Everybody using those bats now?
I think a lot.
If they're smart, they will be.
I think a lot of players are. Yankees are still in first place, and they're
in first place.
Yeah, so they're doing well.
Yep.
So yeah, let's do this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry, even though they weren't on our list last year. But
I think they're being ranked by more people.
We're just going to keep saying that all year.
Especially
all year.
Their new releases.
All right, so this is a lovely bourbon.
It's a bourbon.
It's got a nice aroma.
It's brown.
It's got even a little, like, I was like, is this rye or bourbon? Because it's got a little spice to the aroma. It's got good texture, good color. Let me get, there we go. So let's get a little
sippy,
snort.
Little sippy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I don't think it's high proof. I think it's kind of, I don't want to say mild. Mild is the wrong word for it, but it's soft. It's got a soft texture to it, soft flavors, a little bit of a finish. There's still a little bit of lingering stuff. Not a lot of texture like I usually enjoy, but it's not watery. It doesn't have that kind of wispy, watery flavor that I really don't dig. This has got some decent flavor, a little funk, sweetness. So I dig it. I wish it was higher proof, but I don't think it's low proof, but I don't think it's above 90. I could be wrong about that.
You could be.
Or
you could be right.
I'll keep drinking this throughout the show, and we will reveal later on what this week's Spirit of Mystery is. Let's bring our special guest onto the show. And as always on How About That Cigar, special guests are brought to us by Drew Estate. And Drew Estate is proud to unveil Deadwood Dominicana. She represents a milestone for Drew Estate with the focus purely on the Dominican tobaccos inside, all enhanced by the Mexican San Andreas binder and Connecticut shade wrapper leaf with a premium sweet cap. Available in a 4x38, 5x50, 6x50, and 6x60. Dominicana made her grand debut at the 2025 PCA trade show in New Orleans with MSRPs of $650 to $1350 per cigar. For more information, please visit drewestate.com.
And before you finish and we introduce our wonderful guests,
there
will be a Drew Estate event this Thursday. Is it this Thursday?
It is this Thursday.
This Thursday at Sodi's in Stillwater.
That's right.
From 4 to 7.
Yeah. So if you are one of our fantastic local Minnesota viewers or listeners, this Thursday at Sodi's at I think it starts at
4 to 7.
4 to 7. Yeah. So check that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and welcome back to the show from Crown Heads and Oz Family Cigars, Miguel Schoedel. Brother, welcome back.
Brother, thank you guys for having me on. I got the fruit basket for being on the show 125 times. I think it's an incredible milestone that I have been able to do with you guys on this journey. And thank you for the fruit basket. It was wonderful.
Absolutely. It's all about those edible arrangements, baby.
Oh, a lot of bananas in there.
Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plantains.
I was going to say plantains.
So let's see what everybody's smoking tonight. Sir, what are you smoking?
I am smoking our new Crown Heads Broadway, which was released at PCA. And my next cigar up after that will be our new Caratoba by Oz Family Cigars, released at PCA as well. So I've got the Broadway and the Caratoba. I got to start with this one, and I'll finish with this one.
Nice. Justy, what are you smoking?
I also have a Caratoba right here.
Ah, beautiful.
Nice.
And I am smoking a Las Calaveras from 2022, I think it is.
Yes.
And then my second one will be this phenomenal mule kick from this year, which I can't say enough about. It's fucking really good. Really, really
Thank you,
good.
brother. Thank you, man.
And I have
that is awesome.
I have to smoke these for certain reasons. We won't get into it.
Oh, stop.
But
I'm also smoking the Caratoba for those who
very nice.
are interested, and literally just fired it up. So excited to try this. Jumping right in, speaking of PCA, we were unfortunately unable to be at the PCA trade show this year, but talk to us about how everything went for you guys with Crown Heads and Oz Family Cigars at this year's show.
Well, you know, the show is always great. We always love being there. We've been there every year. I think this personally for me was number 21 or 22 in a row, excluding obviously the shows that were canceled because of COVID. But so we always go in with very high expectations. It's the one time of the year that as salespeople, your retailers come to you opposed to you going to see them. So it's an exciting time for the industry. It's an exciting time for us to get together as an industry to talk about the great things that are happening in our business, either it be creating new products, the trade show, the companies that left the trade show all coming back. Now we're like Voltron. We've formed back together again. Talk about legislation, talk about, you know, what is new happening in the world, knowing that we've won a few battles with the FDA. So New Orleans, we haven't been back in a long time, and we'll be in New Orleans. Not only did we this year, but it'll be next year, and then we'll do 2 years in Vegas. I thought it was great. We had a great trade show, great sales, a lot of great responses to our new products and some of our new packaging we've done. It's an exciting time. As a company, you get together, you eat, you break bread, you laugh together, you build a booth together, and it's just an awesome time. I mean, I can't say enough how much I love the trade show every year. And I think retailers responded this year very positively. Last year, I think it was tough on some retailers because the trade show was so off the normal schedule that it went to the, you know, kind of that Q1, Q2, early 2Q kind of thing. So I think people are more used to it now. And I heard a lot of great things about New Orleans. The opening party was great. So
nice.
Positive.
Nice.
what was your favorite food to eat down there? Because I'm a foodie, so I before any cigar questions, let's talk about the food. What did you have?
You know, we ate at Arnaud's, we ate at Brennan's, we ate at all the, you know,
The hip places.
Drago's, all the great places. But to be honest with you, the highlight of my food there was I took my German distributor, Delay, out to a restaurant called Akamaya. It was about 4 or 5 miles off the kind of Bourbon Street area. And it was a very contemporary, fine dining Mexican restaurant. And it was a great experience. Loved every bite. It was awesome. And after all of that, you know, gumbo and jambalaya and oysters, it was a nice change up for the week. So Akamaya is definitely high on the list.
Nice. And also non-cigar related that I should have asked right at the very beginning. How's everything going on with your Cincinnati Reds?
16-13. We've got a positive win. We're second place, 1 game behind the Chicago Cubs. We could not be asking better right now. The Reds they tripped up the first week of the season, and then boom, they're back to doing really well. We've got a young team. We have a very experienced manager in Terry Francona. High hopes, and it's been a lot of fun watching them. They won again today, so we're just about a game behind the Cubbies. So we're in a good position right now early in the season.
Nice.
You'll catch them. Don't worry. The Cubs always fall apart, like everything in Chicago.
Yeah, it's like the Twins were, I mean, similar, except instead of a bad first week, it was a bad first 3 weeks for the Twins. But they're turning to. I mean, I say that they've won 6 of their last 7, but 6 of those wins were against 2 of the worst teams in baseball, the White Sox and the Angels.
Well, you got to remember, in baseball, those are the games you need to win. And if you're not winning those games, then there's a problem, right? So the same thing, the Cubs just swept the Colorado Rockies. We should have, if we wouldn't have, that'd been a problem. So I'm with you. Our wins are a little inflated right now because we're winning against some bad teams.
Yeah.
The Rockies have the worst record in baseball right now, but those are the games that over the last couple of years, the Reds were notorious for beating the good teams and losing to all the bad teams. And there's more bad teams than good teams. So this year, we're finally starting to win the games we're supposed to. So that's a positive. And so good thing for the Twins as well. I love their uniforms, classic uniforms. And hopefully keep winning, brother.
Yeah. Well, and the Rockies, man, I feel like they've only got 5 wins on the season so far, which it's pretty rough. They're having a rough
4 or 5 wins, something like that. They are having a rough time, especially when you got the White Sox with a better record. Then you go, that's not where you want to be, buddy. That's not where you want to be.
So let's talk about something here.
Oh boy,
you guys,
he's leaning forward.
You guys put out solid cigars year after year after year, right? Through the ups and downs and the bullshit that comes with it. Mm-hmm. How do you keep your fucking hat game so tight?
Well, let me tell you. People always ask about our hats. Like I just did a Texas Cigar Fest, and people were raving about this new hat we just put out. It says "Relax" on it, and there's a crown on it, and on the side it says "Have a cigar." So relax, have a cigar. And it was like we had a line of people wanting this hat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it all comes from John Huber. John is a very creative guy. I tell people. There's people that are talented with numbers. There's people that are talented with painting, with this or that. John is extremely talented in numerous aspects, but his creativity is absolutely amazing. I mean, I will tell you, there's a hat that I wanted to do for a particular retailer. And I said, John, I would like it to kind of look like this. And he says, no. And I was a little perturbed. I was like, come on, man. I know what I'm doing here. Come on. So he sends me the design after he's done with it. And I go, God, he's so good. That's so much better than what I was thinking. And so John is just, this is one of our new eras. We do a lot of different hats. We've done stuff with Evansfield Flannel's new era. But this is our new logo, the CH interlocking with the crown. It's our new logo for 2025 and beyond. Look, some of the new casts we've done are really awesome. I hope everyone gets a chance to come out to a Crown Heads or an Oz Family event. Come out. Check out the deals that we've got on cigars. And, if you pick up a box, we usually have some kind of cool hat there to offer. So I always say that, gift with purchases, everyone has a lighter, everyone has a cutter. But if you could do a dope cap, good quality, good look, that is awesome. And as a hat collector myself, I truly appreciate that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I love flat brims. I'm a flat brim guy. So, I could literally put my drink on here and balance it because that's how I like my caps. John always makes fun of me for that. But it's just, man, he keeps it fresh. He's always working on new ideas, different ideas. We've had hats inspired by Harley Davidson, by Krispy Kreme, and it comes from all over. And people seem to really love and respond to him. So the compliments make you smile. We're here as a cigar company, but when you're able to provide something swag that is neat or cool, it makes you happy that people like it and they rock it. You know what I mean? They wear it. And that is so awesome to me.
Yeah. I'm repping St. Paul Saints tonight.
I love it. I love minor league caps. I think minor league caps are great,
Yeah. St. Paul Saints logo is pretty killer.
Yeah.
It is. That's a classic. That is a classic.
Let's talk about the new rebranding or new logo.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that consist of? That consists of boxes, bands?
Yeah. So, for us, when you start out as a boutique brand, we had CAO from 1968 and we ran it till 2010. We had sold it in 07, but we continued to run it till 2010. In 2011, Crown Heads was founded. And when you start out as a boutique company, you could put out a lot of different few blends here and there. We did, heavy grains, we did 4 kicks, and they can all have their separate identity and style. But what happens is, 10 years, 12 years on, you start accumulating a lot of different blends that are very successful, but it's really hard to kind of now unify them as one brand, right? And so that was something that we've come to now. We're at a crossroads where we have grown so much to where we need to kind of bring the look together. So all the new bands will have that new CH as the what we call kind of the hero logo, right? And then on the sides, we'll maintain some of their unique culture. So this one has the 3 stars that represent Tennessee because this is the Broadway after the street Broadway, which is the most popular street in Nashville, and then Broadleaf. So it's got a kind of a double meaning there. And then the secondary band that we have on all of the cigars will be a secondary band that will say Crowned Heads in embossed gold, and then underneath it we'll have the name of the blend. So you're going to see that with La Imperiosa. The crown that was on the band will now be on the 2 sides. You're going to see that with Mil Diaz, the M's will be on the side. And it's just a better way to unify the brand, you know, and bring it all together on the shelf. So when you look at it on the shelf, it won't look like a massive, just a bunch of different brands together. Now it'll look like Crowned Heads section. And that was just something that, you know, you grow into. Every boutique brand eventually gets to that point. And so we did a little things like put foot bands and stuff, but this was a real way to unify. And later in the year, we'll do some other blends that we have with updated packaging as well. The blends are still made at the same factory, same everything. It was just time to kind of upgrade and change things. And then even with Osgener, I mean, you know, it used to be Osgener Family Cigars, but, you know, Tim coming back to the business, a lot of people still have a hard time saying Osgener when they see it written. So we've shortened it to just Oz Family Cigars. The logo is really kind of pointing on that Oz. And so this is kind of the new logo for Oz. So it was just time for us to kind of upgrade and unify. And we're excited about it. And then we always had a CH logo, but this one's basically that logo with more of a contemporary, unique look to it. Something John's been working on for over a year. And just like anything else, it's awesome to kind of debut it and show it off. I remember CAO, you know, looking at all their logos. I think they went through 4 main logos from 1968 till 2010. And you can just kind of see the transition of uniqueness. I'm a big watch guy, and I have Tissot. I have a Tissot watch, and on the box of Tissot, you know, they have all their logos that they've gone through the years, and it's fun to do. I think it's refreshing. I think it's just a way to kind of here we're, you know, putting a stake in the ground. This is a new way going forward, and we've just grown so much, man. And it's all because of the consumers loving Crowned Heads, coming to the events, getting to know how we do things, and being on shows like this where you guys spread the word. It means the world to us. So we're just trying to stay fresh and keep things new, you know?
So how was that received at PCA? Everybody loved the new logos and new idea?
I can tell you, I had a 100% positive feedback on packaging. 100% feedback. Everyone loved the bands. Everyone loved the packaging. Everybody loved the new look. The only thing people said is, man, you got to do them all. And we're going to do them all. But, you know, the printers can only print so much at one time. They got to make other bands too. So we chose like 4. Then we're going to keep, and then later in the year, we'll do more. So this time next year, you'll see everything unified, and that shelf space, that Crowned Heads is going to be very noticeable on the shelf. Everything will have a built-in shelf talker. It's just awesome, man. All positive, all great. And I think consumers will hopefully really enjoy it too. And it'll help them kind of find our product in the humidors these days. And, you know, I mean, it's amazing how many new brands and blends come out every single week, every month, new. And so you have to kind of make sure people know, like, you know, we've been here. We've been around a long time. Our roots go back to 1968. We're here and check us out. So it's pretty awesome.
One more question, I'll stop hogging the show. Will you leave the Yellow Rose, the Tennessee Waltz, and the Paniolas, I say that right? Paniolas alone? Or will you rebrand those two?
So Paniolo is an exclusive for Hawaii, but even more so, it's an exclusive for Marvin at his cigar shop in Hawaii. We're always going to keep that foot band. It's just, that is Paniolo. That's how Paniolo's always been. But I can tell you, by the end of this year, either Yellow Rose or Tennessee Waltz will get an update in bands and boxes. I won't tell you which one. It's a 50-50, you know, you can guess, but by the end of this year, at least one of those will be updated in packaging. Cool. And I will tell you that broadleaf is becoming a little bit more available, so you should see more Yellow Rose and more Tennessee Waltz on the shelf coming than in years. So we're excited about those brands, and those brands are literally part of the fabric of Crowned Heads. Yeah. So those brands will have to come along on this journey as well. And I hope in a couple of months, we'll make another announcement about one of those 2 brands. We got a lot more stuff coming along too. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Keep forward to it.
Keep the tobaccos the same and the flavor profiles the same. And I don't really care what it looks like, because I mean, we've talked about it so many times. That Tennessee Waltz is just like it's got a place in my heart since the very first time I smoked it when it first came out.
I'm the opposite. I like the
and
rose.
You're a yellow rose guy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. At the trade show, we only had 2 boxes for display, and our guys started taking cigars, so we kept shoving other cigars underneath it to make sure that top looked the same for pictures. But we were all smoking Yellow Rose and Tennessee Waltz the whole show. It's a fan favorite for sure. But I think because those brands play such an important role in our story, that we know they're going to get upgraded at some time here.
Yeah.
Which is the third one that I'm forgetting? The one with the red band.
Buckeye Land.
Buckeye Land. Yeah. Also a good cigar.
Yep.
Yeah. So one thing that I'm curious from your standpoint, your point of view, Miguel, is, another change that came, not that long ago for your company. When Mike announced his retirement, obviously we know that there's wheels on big things like that. Wheels are always turning way before the announcement actually comes out. So as you guys as a company, looked at what that was going to look like, and different roles for different people, including yourself and things like that. How do you all manage that, and what are we as consumers going to see in the future, kind of, if anything, kind of as sort of a byproduct of this new leadership structure for your company?
Yeah. So, Mike Condor is one of the guys that I admire most in this business. He is one of the original guys that bring me in this business 21, 22 years ago. So it was a shock to me. But, he got into business in 1980 and retired in 2025. So a guy who's given his entire adult life to the premium cigar industry, through CAO cigars, through General Cigar, and obviously creating Crown Heads with John Huber in 2011. So I understood that Mike was ready to, kind of retire. His daughter recently got married and had a baby, and then he just had his second grandchild during the week of PCA. That's really why he wasn't there. He wanted to be there to say bye to everybody, but he was having his second grandbaby, and he said, "I missed the first one. I'm not going to miss the second one." And so we all kind of knew that we were all going to take different roles. So Adam Shepard, who's been with us in CAO days, Adam is our COO. John Huber, who is co-owner of Crown Heads, is now also president of Crown Heads. And Tim Osgener is taking on CFO, and he's he's a creative force, just like John. You guys know what happened at the CAO days, creating unique different products and keeping things fresh in the industry. And then I moved up from national sales manager to VP of sales. Just more expanding the brand, more expanding the product. I mean, I knew when I was brought on board with Mike that the idea was for me to kind of learn from him so I could take some of the load off his plate. I didn't know he was going to really retire, but that was kind of the goal. And we took Andy Yaffe, who was our Mid-Atlantic rep, and made him the national sales manager. So what does that mean for the future? I think you see a brand like Crown Heads and Oz Family Cigar that is constantly growing every single year, adding more in-house reps, adding a few brokers, shrinking territories as we bring on more people. It's just becoming a brand that is more readily available, creating products that retailers love because they bring consumers through the door, and more events, more tastings. And I think with Tim Osgener, it's going to be unique, adding new things, trying new things out, being an industry leader opposed to an industry follower, trying to create new different styles under the Oz logo. And then under Crown Heads, John keeping true to what we've done, but having the ability to do even more stuff. So that's really all that's going to change is names and titles. It's still the same philosophy. We have the same philosophy that we've had from day one: be the best damn artisanal cigars you could possibly be the best economic cigar that you can possibly be. If your cigar is $10, be the best $10 cigar. If your cigar is $20, be the best $20 cigar. So that's always what's driven us in working with great people like Don Pepin Garcia, Gus Gura at Naxa, working with Eradio Pichardo at Takanixa, or working with EPC at Casa Carrillo, working with them and creating new brands, new products that can just excite the industry. That's really what, what's happened. And we're going to miss Mike a lot, his leadership. He's going to stay on as an advisor to us. And it's just new. I mean, it's just, keep going towards the carrying that flag of premium cigars, keeping the culture alive and keeping the hobby alive. And we're all energized. When you get a new position, you're energized by it. And I think we're going to grow the international. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff.
Your energy's coming through a TV. I'm all pumped right now.
Yeah, I know. It's exciting.
I love it. The industry is so incredible, you guys. We just came back from PCA, and it gets you excited. You realize that our industry is very small, but we're a very powerful industry. The people that are passionate that smoke cigars, they're passionate about the news and the excitement of things, and the growers are excited. We're having some great growing seasons in Nicaragua and Honduras and the Dominican. There's so much great positive. We're winning battles against the FDA. It's just, there's a few laws in a few states that are passed, like Kentucky, which I grew up in Cincinnati, I was right over the river, that they're going to be able to have cigar bars. And so you see these little battles that we're winning. Now is at a very exciting time in the premium cigar world. And I'm just glad that we at Crowned Heads are part of that. And we'll continue to pump up the industry and do what's best by our consumers, man.
So David, Mr. Boyle Floyd wants to know if you're going to bring back the La Patissiere LE that you had a few years ago to Lonsdale.
There is I could tell you right now. Now, look, John, he does his thing, and then it filters down to me. So I never really know until I need to know, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, there's no plans right now for doing a La Patissiere LE in the Lonsdale, but I can tell you that I smoked one 2 weeks ago, and it was freaking fantastic. A consumer brought it to me and said, hey, I bought this box and this was the last one. I wanted to give it to you. And I tried to give it back. You wouldn't let me. And I smoked it and it was phenomenal. Listen, I'm a sucker for Lonsdales. You give me a Corona, you give me a Petite Corona, you give me a Lonsdale, a Lancero. Good Lord, I'm happy, man. I'm happy to smoke those thin ring gauges. They're so elegant, flavorful, amazing. My dream is that one day everyone can enjoy a thin ring gauge, but we do live in a world of the 50 to 56 ring gauge right now. So we are making more and more cigars in those ring gauges, but John Huber, he will always slide in a thin ring gauge here and there.
Yeah.
So no on that Le Patissiere, but keep your eyes out for some really cool stuff and maybe a thin ring gauge Yellow Rose or a thin ring gauge Tennessee Waltz. Tennessee Waltz could be coming. Who knows? But
I got a little tingy downstairs. I got a little tingy.
Yeah, I think it moved.
Yeah,
I think it moved.
I still have 2 boxes of those in the storage, man.
Didn't you buy 6 of those boxes?
I smoked at least 6 of those sons of bitches and put 2 away.
Yeah, still is one of your favorites of all time.
Fuck, that cigar is good.
Can we check in? How's your cocktail going, by the way?
How's yours?
Yeah,
mine is good. I'm trying a new rum tonight.
What is it? What's the name of it?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm a rum geek, and I just had my birthday recently.
Well, happy birthday. What are you, 40?
Thank you. I'm 45. El Pasador de Oro XO is from Guatemala.
Nice.
Never had this rum before. I'm a rum fanatic. This was given to me for my birthday by some friends, and I'm absolutely enjoying it and loving it. I'm such a diplomatico, Zacapa kind of guy, so it's hard to get me off those. But this is fantastic, man. What are you drinking over there? Do you know yet? You haven't been.
I still don't know yet. I've had probably close to half the pour so far, and it's good. It's not blowing my socks off or anything, but it is a good bourbon. It's consistent. What's that?
Is it consistent?
It's consistent. It's got good flavor. I wish that had a little more texture to it, because I like kind of a viscous kind of mouth feel. He hates when I say mouth.
You got to say mouth.
Mouth with an F.
Mouth feel.
Mouth feel.
And just for shits and giggles, show them the beer you're drinking.
Yeah. So this is Buckle Bunny Citrus Cream Ale.
It looks like the Astros old uniforms there.
Well, it happens to be from Houston. It's a brewery down in Houston.
I just came back from Houston. I flew in yesterday.
And boy, are my arms tired. But thank you very much. I'll be here all night. It's good beer.
It's sweet.
It's not too sweet. That's the thing. It's interesting because it's almost like a half and half pour of a cream ale and like a hazy IPA.
Nice.
So
when we were down in Houston, we went, and my wife said, I got to try that just because of the name, the Buckle Bunny. I don't know if you ever heard that cowboy country song, Buckle Bunny. Look it up on YouTube when you get a chance.
That's
Buckle
a fun
Bunny.
song.
It's funny. She had one, and she's like, honey, when you go bourbon shopping, can you buy me a case?
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate this. And I like the fact that, you know, some people are like, oh, it's low alcohol beer. You're a wuss or whatever. I'm like, that's so stupid. 4.5% alcohol beer like this, when it's 95 degrees in the summer,
beautiful.
I can drink these all day long, and I'm not going to be falling
belligerent. Yeah.
I'm not going to be falling apart.
There's a time and place for everything, man. You know,
Yeah,
sure.
It's you know, for me, you know, my drink of choice is Coke Zero. You know what I mean? But there's got to be room. There's got to be room for everything. I mean, not everything needs to be super octane. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to have some stuff. It's like a cigar. When I meet people that just want a cigar that like knocks them out, I'm like, dude, man, don't you ever just want a good, nice Connecticut, mild, smooth, that just refresh your palate? And you know, you don't have to have everything always knocks your head off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like that for a while, and then I got smart, and then I started smoking everything.
Well, and it's like this has always been my sort of description for Connecticut shade cigars. You know, you've got good Connecticut shade cigars, and you've got bad Connecticut shade cigars, and I liken it to, I sort of call them, and I'm not talking about cigars with sweet tips. I'm talking about natural, you know, Connecticut shade wrap cigars. I liken it to vanilla ice cream. You can go to you know, a big, whatever your big local grocery store is, whether it's Publix or Kroger or whatever, and there's probably, I don't know, 30 different kinds of vanilla ice cream there. And you get one of the ones that's really made from a high quality ice cream producer, and it's just outstanding, but it's not full of pepper and all this. It's vanilla ice cream, but it's just really high quality vanilla. And I think the same thing about Connecticut shade cigars.
Yep.
You get one that's really high quality, and it gives you still insane amounts of flavor and, you know, good texture from the smoke, but without that peppery kick, especially on the retrohale. You know, that's what I always equate it to.
I would agree with you. You can get it. You can buy a really shitty vanilla ice cream where it tastes like chemical, or you can get like a really nice vanilla bean vanilla that is just incredible. To me, that's Connecticut. I mean, you can have a Connecticut and smoke it and feel like you literally, did I even smoke tobacco?
Right.
Then you could smoke a Connecticut that is just flavorful, creamy textures, buttery notes. I mean, I remember the 90s. You know, the 90s, Connecticut's ruled the world, man. And if you love that, you know, I think that's awesome. I think everybody, there's guys that start with huge ring gauges and then they learn to appreciate the small ring gauges. Guys that start with full body that eventually appreciate milder cigars, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I mean, that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of no matter what you're drinking, smoking, whatever you're doing, is exploring and finding that, you know what, I really like this cigar, you know?
Yeah.
So how is that cigar?
I like this. I'm going to Caratoba. I'm enjoying this cigar. There's a lot of body to it. It's not strong. I mean, and I always tell our audience this, don't go off of me for strength recommendations, because I don't really consider any cigars to be strong. So I don't get strength from this cigar, but I get a ton of body, and there's a little bit of spice on the retrohale, but just enough. It's balanced to me. So I like the fact that there's you know, that natural tobacco sweetness and a lot of body mixed with a little kick through the nose. I like that.
And it's a soft box press, right?
Yeah, it is a soft press.
And I do like box press cigars are just fun to smoke.
Yeah,
they typically have. It's very rare that you find a box press cigar with a bad draw. It's also very rare that you find a crown head cigar with a bad draw. So,
well, you know what's interesting about box press cigars is that the way they do a box press cigar is they underfill the cigar. So if you fill a box press cigar that comes off the roller's table, you would say, man, this cigar is underfilled. It's because when you go to press the cigar, you have to have enough room to allow the airflow. So back in the day when, you know, Padron kind of brought the box press back into vogue in '96, and people were starting to try to box press to kind of emulate that, a lot of people had forgotten how to roll box press cigars. So they were literally rolling a cigar and then pressing it, and then you couldn't get a draw through it. You literally have to underfill a parejo a little bit to box press it. And then if you have a hard press, you need to be even more careful. But this is a soft press. This is made by Naxa. Kara is Turkish for dark or black. And then Toba is a mountain range in Sumatra, Indonesia, where this wrapper kind of, tobacco's from the Americas. It went over to Indonesia. They grow it there. And then those seeds came back to South America where they grow this cigar. So it's the wrapper, it's in Ecuador, Sumatra. And literally, the seed comes from the Sumatra region of Indonesia. So it's kind of Karatoba is kind of a word that we created to mean kind of dark mountains. And it just has a beautiful cigar. I love the copper band. Just a beautiful smoke, man.
Yeah.
So, Justin, how are you liking your Broadway?
I have a Karatoba also.
Yeah, I thought you were no. Well,
You had the
Miguel's smoking the Broadway.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now I'm on to Karatoba.
I got to bring up
tell me,
one of our viewers, one of our loyal viewers, Thomas Darling, just got in from a day at Disney with the grandkids. Everything hurts, including my wallet. Brother, I do not envy you. I mean, it's the memories are great, and don't get me wrong, all that stuff is great. But yeah, Disney with grandchildren. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually looking forward to that day. But I know before it even happens, brother, I know that my hips are going to be killing me at the end of the day, and I'm going to be like, where's all my money? Where'd all my money go? But honestly, seeing the smiles on my grandkids' faces, I'm probably not going to care.
So tell us,
Disney is built to take your money.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Broadway.
So Broadway is kind of this concept of us creating a brand that could represent where we're from, right? CAO was founded in Nashville, Tennessee in 1968. It ran until 2010. Like I said, in 2011, when none of us went over to General Cigar to continue to work with CAO, we stayed in Nashville. That's because Tim Osgener, John Huber, Mike Condor, Nashville was home, right? And so creating this brand Broadway, there's kind of a double kind of meaning to it. Broadway is the street that everybody comes to Nashville. They want to hang out on. That's where the honky tonks are. That's where the music, the drinking, the good times all happen on Broadway. And working with Naxa, who literally have the best broadleaf in the industry, we wanted to make it a broadleaf cigar. So it was about having a cigar. If you smoke Le Patissier, I think you'll really like Broadway. It's like a pumped up version to me of Le Patissier. It's got this body, really nice full body, but medium strength cigar. And it has a absolute grade A broadleaf wrapper on it. And it's really about just representing where we're from. There's the 3 stars on the band that represents the state of Tennessee. So representing kind of, broadleaf tobacco, Broadway, Nashville, all together in one cigar. Comes in 3 different vitolas. And with our new packaging, obviously, very proud of it. And that's it, man. Broadleaf Maduro, U.S. Connecticut, hard to get wrapper that's becoming a little bit more available now. Literally, when you talk about broadleaf, I mean, Saka uses broadleaf from Naxa. We use broadleaf from Naxa. Those guys just know what they're doing when it comes to Connecticut broadleaf, man.
So what's the rest of the blend besides the broadleaf on the outside?
So the fillers on the Broadway, I just want to make sure because I don't want to misquote here because it's a new brand. So Connecticut, grade A broadleaf wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan filler enrolled in Nicaragua.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So Nica broadleaf.
So now we're going to keep on with the question and answering of cigars that you put out. Tell us about the new Mule Kick, which I'm absolutely in love with.
Oh, this year's.
Yeah, this year's Mule Kick. John, we've done Mule Kick several times. We don't necessarily do it every year. And John really wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit, change it up a little bit. So he changed almost everything about the 4 kicks. It's the Mule Kick. You kind of we started with the 4 kicks blend, and then we would kind of add and subtract and kind of go there. This one is completely different. The wrapper is Connecticut broadleaf. The binder's Mexican San Andreas. The fillers are all Nicaraguan. So it was one of those things where we had an opportunity to kind of have fun with it. And the fillers being a cross between Esteli and Jalapa, that beautiful Mexican San Andreas binder, which we usually use as a wrapper. And then Connecticut broadleaf, that's we're getting from Ernesto Perez Carrillo at Casa Carrillo. It was a unique way for us to kind of just start fresh from that blend and just build something new and exciting. And John did a hell of a job with it. And then even the box is a little bit nicer, upgraded a little bit. It's got that beautiful red box, that beautiful band. I can't say enough of it. I think for my sales team, it was by far our most favorite, most excited mule kick we've had in a very long time. So it's out there. It's getting a lot of love, and I could not be happier with the response out there. And, they come in like 10 count boxes, so they're very affordable for the collector, for the consumer. So pretty awesome.
It's absolutely beautiful. I'm smoking it now. Can we get it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to become one of my favorite all-time Crown Head cigar.
Nice.
I really
Thank
like
you,
it,
brother. And we do the same size every year, that Toro size.
Yeah.
And we've sometimes we've just changed the wrapper. Sometimes we've just changed a one or two components, but this one was built from the ground up. And again, just starting fresh, starting something new. And man, it keeps you excited. It keeps you wanting to talk about it. Because when people would come to Mule Kick, they say, all right, what'd you guys change on it? Now it's like, hey, it's completely different from ground up. And you can try it like a whole new experience, a whole new experience for you to have in the industry. So I'm happy with it, man. I'm glad you're feeling that cigar. It means a lot to us. Mule Kick has a lot of great history with our brand. And it was named literally after an exercise that Ernesto Perez Carrillo does called the Mule Kicks. And that's where it came from. So we keep that tradition going. We love EPC. Ernie is one of the great legends in this business. So every time you smoke a Mule Kick, it's like an ode to Ernie, man. One of the great OGs in this business.
So I'm curious from your standpoint, and just to preface the question, we've said so many times on this show, and we've heard so many other people in this business talk about the fact that the cigar industry is so relationship driven. But every different kind of role, if you will, in the cigar industry has sort of a different style of relationship. Maybe you've got people who do cigar media like us, who we try to reach out to different companies and get them on the show to hear their stories, or when we're able to go to trade shows and cover them. Then you've got shop owners who've got a particular kind of a relationship with their customers that come into their shops, and then you've got reps, and you've got brand owners, and for you, moving into a different role, because you've been in this business for so long, and you've had many years where you were spending a lot of time in your role where your relationships were directly talking to the shop owners, and working with them to find out what they need and which cigars from your lines their customers are really going for, and which ones maybe the staff needs to know more about to be more effective at moving that product, or something like that. Mm-hmm. But as you look forward at the fact that you're going to be, maybe your relationships are going to shift more to where you'll still be talking to shop owners from time to time, but you'll be spending a lot of time talking to the new reps that you guys bring in as you grow your stable of reps across the country and even across the world. So as you look at that going forward, what are the conversations that leadership at Crown Heads and Oz Family Cigars, how do you discuss what those roles and relationships are going to look like going forward as you sort of shift and change how you're going to deal with the people that you work with?
I think the ultimate goal of any sales company is to create like-minded salespeople that are customer service driven, right? Really about being very thankful for the position that you're in. When you're in a retail shop, knowing that you're lucky to be on their shelf, not that they need to have you on their shelf. Getting people to understand the ethos of what our company is about, trying to create great value, great experiences for people. And if you can teach others to do that, then you can reach out to more people, right? You only have so many hours in a day. There's only so many days in a week. There's only so many days in a month. And this is a very big country, and we're in 13 countries around the world. So you have to learn to duplicate yourself and try to share that level of service as you can to as many people. And I think we've done that with guys like Danny Hennessy out of Wisconsin. His customer service is through the roof. Jake Sanders in Ohio, he is a road warrior, willing to go above and beyond for his retailers. Brian McGee in Texas, who is a salesman of the highest degree. It's all about customer service. Andy Yaffe, who we've now moved into the national sales position role, who is really a problem solver, a kind of guy who can look at a store and say, okay, you don't need this, you really need this. Let's focus on this, because at the end of the day, we need to turn and burn for you guys to make it successful so you can be around for many more years to come and share your store with the future generations. We want to be a part of your success and not be part of an anchor that holds you down. And you know, bringing Miguel Montañez, who's one of our reps in New York, you know, it's about having these incredible interactions with consumers and retailers to where they want you in their store. They want you to be a part of it. So as the role for my roles is moved to vice president of sales, it's about trying to duplicate those goals, that attitude, and try to share it with as many people so we can get out and touch as many consumers and retailers as possible. At the end of the day, we are extensions of John Huber and Tim Osgoner now. We are extensions of them, sharing their kind of philosophy, sharing their love and their passion with as many people around the country as we can. And that's really what it's about, man, is just trying to share the passion with other people, and knowing that all of us that are in this company, although the company was founded in 2011, we've all been around a heck of a lot longer than that. And knowing that we'll be there for years to come, creating products that will bring consumers into retailer stores. We do a lot of LEs. And when a retailer says to me, man, I love that you guys do so many different LEs, because it brings guys back into the humidor. It gets them back in the store. It gives them an excuse to see me every month or whatever. That is a high praise, because while they're there, they're buying other cigars. They're buying new lighters. They're buying new cutters. So if you can bring consumers because of excitement back into the store, that is helping our retailers. And the truth is, the backbone of this industry is brick and mortar. And so that's my philosophy, man, is just try to duplicate yourself. Try to be the best partner you can be to the retailers, and just keep moving forward. The truth is that this cigar thing has been around for thousands of years, right? The indigenous people of the Americas were smoking cigars. So it doesn't matter if you spent 30, 40, 50 years in this industry, it's but a blip on the history of what tobacco is. And if you can give more than you take from the industry, that I think is the goal. That should be the goal of everyone who is in this industry, either it be media, a retailer, a consumer, anything, media. If we can give more than we take, at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. And that's what I try to share with my team. And as we continue to grow, that is the philosophy that we try to spread to people that are now understanding who Crown Heads is, and that we're here to give more than to take. And I don't know if I answered your question there, but
No,
that's really
great.
what it's about. That's what it's about, man.
So let's talk about, I love that you gave all your reps a wonderful
Flowers.
Let's talk about the one that means something to us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Danny. He got Rookie of the Year.
He got Salesman of the Year. His rookie year wins. That's like winning in baseball. That would be like not only winning Rookie of the Year, but MVP of the National League, you know?
I like the guy. He's an awesome dude. I've met him a few times, hung out with him. You got something special there, brother.
Thank you. Listen, Danny is amazing. You know, when you hire someone really good, it's funny. You know, Mike Condor and Tim and John would say, "Man, that was a good hire. That was a good hire." But the truth is that Danny was already around us. He would hang out in our office. He was the assistant manager at Casa de Monte Cristo in Nashville. He would, if we needed help packing boxes, he would come in and help. It was just very natural fit. And I didn't have a position for him in the Mid-Atlantic. And I said, Danny, man, I would love to have you part of this team, but I would have to move you. And Danny said, dude, move me. I'll go wherever you want me to go. And so we moved him to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's killing it up there. And now we've given him the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia market, because he's doing such a great job. So when you have incredible people, our job is to get out of their way and let them do what they do best and give them the tools to do what they do best. And Danny, I just spent 3 days with Danny in Texas. Our Brian McGee, our rep, there were like 3 multi-vendors on Saturday, by the way. So we all had to divide and conquer. So Danny flew down to help me do Texas Cigar Fest. And it's just amazing when I meet people that knew Danny when he was working at Nashville CDM, and they come to the event and they're so happy to see him and happy that we hired him. they'd say, man, you got a real winner there. And we'd say, listen, we're blessed. He's like, man, thank you for getting me in the industry, getting me in this job. But the reality is we're blessed. And when you have great people, you make them part of the family. So we couldn't be more happier with Danny.
Nice.
I just wish he would eat more, because he's like 100 pounds soaking wet, and it looks like we don't feed him. And I told Danny he's got to start eating more. You know what I mean?
So I almost don't like that you gave him another area. I'm selfish. I don't like that. I don't like it.
Well, this is the thing, is that that part of the country is frozen for a part of the long part. So we've given him a little something so he can get out of the 0 below a couple times of the year. You know what I'm saying? No, man, he's amazing, and that's what great sales guys do. And when I have guys that have been with us and they grow with us, you give them more responsibility, allows them to grow and to build their brand, right? Because you build your brand as a sales guy. People love you. They appreciate you. They appreciate your hard work, and not the brand he's representing, but the brand of Danny Hennessy. You build that brand and you become very valuable to the company, to the industry. And that is when you allow someone to spread their wings. It's an incredible thing, man. Incredible. And he's 29. He's got so many. He's such a young guy, man.
29.
He's
29.
I thought he was 12.
I got a kid older than that. I do.
You're going to be taking Danny to Disney World soon. You know what I mean?
It's possible. 12. He looks like he's 12.
It's possible. Yeah.
Got good genes.
I've got 3 guys on my team, by the way, that can't grow a beard. Danny's one of them.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel older every day. So one of the things that we've been asking a number of people for the last couple of months is, because obviously there's a lot of tradition in the cigar industry. There's some families, whose lineage, in premium tobacco goes back generations. And I believe it is an important industry, and I believe it is, there's something valuable in the camaraderie and the family aspect and the conversational aspect that comes with premium cigars. But at the same time, I think there's also a levity and a sort of a lightness, that you can lighten up your spirit a little bit and have a little fun and joke around a little bit. And sometimes in certain circumstances, it feels like the cigar industry takes itself a little too seriously. Do you feel like that happens from time to time? And how do we combat that and just kind of lighten up and have a good time?
I think there are people. I think that there's really personalities, right? There's definitely personalities in this business who take themselves way, way serious. I always tell people, like when a retailer comes to me and says, Miguel, I'm going to throw X brand out. They didn't show up on time, or they were late to the event or something. I always say, listen, man, you got to be forgiving. You got to understand that we're not out there. We're not creating cancer drugs to save people's lives. We're not creating Narcan saving people's lives. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we sell tobacco. We sell a fun product. No one ever comes into a cigar shop. Like, if you go to buy a car, majority of people are buying a car because their other car is about to go kaput, and it's not a happy experience. If you're in a store buying a vacuum, you do not want to be there buying a vacuum. You do not want to go grocery. Most people don't like grocery shopping, right? So, but when you come into a cigar shop, you're there because you are getting away from the stresses of life. So I tell people, look, don't take ourselves too serious. We're not creating the next heart that's going to go into someone to save their life. We create a product that people love, enjoy, and relax with. We create products that people use to relax and enjoy life. So we shouldn't take ourselves too serious. And believe me, being around Tim Osgener, you are reminded of that, because he will make you laugh all day, every day. As long as we do what we're supposed to do, dot the I's, cross the T's, create good product, be good people, be good ambassadors to our industry. Then at the end of the day, I think we should be able to laugh every day and have fun. Look, I remember, people would say, oh, this guy has this cigar, he's making this claim, or this guy's making this cigar, he's making this claim, it's 20-year-old tobacco, or this cigar isn't sweet tipped. Man, at the end of the day, let's just have fun, man. If they want to believe that, let them believe that. At the end of the day, it's the consumer that is going to make the judgment if they like it, if they don't like it, if they care about the story or they don't care about the story. At the end of the day, man, we sell cigars. Let's have fun. You know, I try not to take anything too serious. I think that's part of my personality. And sometimes when we're with people, we get together, a bunch of us in the industry, and we'll rag on a guy about, hey, man, you know, you gotta just relax, brother. You gotta just chill a little bit. You know what I mean? And you got to be the light among darkness sometimes. You've got to try to bring positive. You know, it doesn't matter. A few years ago, you know, we split from another company we were distributing. You just gotta walk away with your head up high. You just gotta say, okay, man, we just gotta keep moving forward. Things like that to happen. You know what I mean? Or one brand, one rep will leave one brand to rep another brand. You can't get mad at that. That's what they're doing to better their life. They're making a decision for them. You move on. Just keep going, man. I think those who hold their head up highest will be the ones that don't drown when it does get a little deep. And at the end of the day, man, we're in a fun industry, and we got to keep the fun rolling. You know what I mean? I mean, think about our industry. We have cigars that are flavored. We have cigars that are shaped weird. We have all these crazy fun things that we do in the business, man, and it's just fun. I never say you got to take things serious, but I definitely say that you just try to be that light among darkness to try to make other people laugh and have a good time. And believe me, when I'm with Terrence Riley or Jack Tarano or any of these guys, all we're doing is laughing and having a good time. So, and that's what it's about, brother. We're very blessed to be in this business.
It's funny because, I mean, as much as we nerd out about cigars and, you know, this kind of tobacco and this age of tobacco and this blah, 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 blah about the cigars, and all that stuff is great. But when we get together, inevitably, we'll maybe talk about that for a couple minutes, and then we're on to talking about our wives and our kids and our families and sharing pictures of, oh, yeah, my kid graduated, or what. It could be anything. Or, you know, my wife just got her master's, or who knows what it might be. And it all comes back to, like, you know, talking about real shit,
being human
and being human. And
perfect example is like when I've been in the Dominican and I've got to sit down with Ernesto Perez Carrillo. All right, you're talking about a Hall of Fame cigar maker, right? Literally in the Cigar Maker Hall of Fame. Huge ratings. He built La Gloria Cubana with his father. They sold it off. He did the same thing with EPCs, created this incredible brand, right? Here's a guy that you want to sit down with, smoking a cigar, and you want to talk tobacco, right? So the first 10 minutes are always about tobacco. And then after that, Ernie's asking you about your favorite baseball team. He's asking you about how your family's going. Or, hey, listen, man, I just got these new glasses. They're driving me crazy, you know, and now I can't see as far. And I'm getting up 5 times at night, you know, to go to the bathroom. It's cigars are literally a conduit to just fun conversation. And even with the legends, even when you're with the legends, ultimately it ends up in non-tobacco conversations, and you start just talking about real life and real things, and you're always going to laugh. You're always going to have fun. I love talking to Ernie about his drumming days in New York, you know, and all the crazy things he saw and witnessed in these nightclubs, and cigars are a perfect example of that. Or, you know, just simple as, you know, oh man, you meet a guy that's, oh, I love to drink this with my cigar. And you go, man, I can't stand that. What makes you enjoy that? You know what I mean? Or, hey, man, I love this musician when I'm smoking cigars. You go, really? I'm not a big fan of that band or whatever. And you start talking, and it's just cigars are, I always tell everyone, I meet a lot of women in cigar shops these days, right? But many years ago, there were a lot less women. And once in a while, a woman would come and say, oh, my husband loves hanging out here. I thought I'd come check it out. And you know, he's smoking a lot of cigars. And they would ask me about it. And I always say, listen, cigars are not addictive. Cigar smoking, there's nothing addictive about cigar smoking. What is addictive is the friendships and the community. You get addicted to these people that are around cigars. You meet interesting folks. It's the only place you can walk into a lounge in a cigar shop in any city in the US. You can meet a lawyer. You can meet a guy who works in the line in Detroit building cars. You can meet every a college kid, you know, who's just getting introduced to cigars, all in the same place. Now, they may not be able to afford to eat at the same restaurants, drive the same car, hang out at the same country club, but they're all smoking in the same cigar shop. And that, to me, is the ultimate addiction of cigars, is the people you meet. And it's always lighthearted. I always say, listen, there's a fight in a bar. Every minute of the day, there's someone getting a fight in a bar. Listen, I've been in this 21 years. I've never seen a fight in a cigar bar. I have seen Pittsburgh Steelers and Bengals fans go at it and smoke a cigar together. I've never seen a fight. It is just that part of what we do as an industry. And that's where I wish the politicians would see what cigar smoking is really about. Even though we make it about the cigar and as we make the focus of this, at the end of the day, this kind of floats in the background and it really becomes about you and me and the conversations we're having. Yeah. I mean, it's so neat. Silly as it sounds, I remember I met a guy who, it's a true story. The guy had a terrible tooth issue and he went to 2 or 3 dentists, had a horrible experience, and then met a dentist in a cigar shop smoking a cigar. The dentist wound up fixing something that 3 other dentists couldn't do. And he met him in a cigar shop. They were smoking cigars together. And it just, as crazy as that sounds, that's kind of the world of cigar smoking. And that is where you meet people and you just realize that this one common denominator, this agricultural product that's been around for thousands of years, can bring all walks of life together, smoke a cigar, and have a great time. I wish people in DC smoked more cigars because the politicians need to take a chill pill and have a cigar together. And that's really the ultimate kind of way to meet people, cigars.
Damn straight.
So I have one more question before you ask your question.
Yeah, right on.
Have you, and excuse me if you have you ever thought about blending your own cigar for the company?
I made a cigar when I was at Tarano, so I spent many years at CAO. I got to be a part of helping to create a few projects. Our CAO Gold 10th Anniversary cigar, I helped come up with that idea, helped work on a few other ideas when I was at Tarano, got to work on a few. And then Charlie Tarano gave me the honor of creating my own cigar. It was called Tarano Salutum. It's a Latin word, salutum. It's like saying saludos or cheers. It was after I had my brain tumor and I had recovered, and I wanted to create a cigar that kind of celebrated life. And so I created this cigar, and Charlie sold it under the Tarano name. And when we sold Tarano, obviously the name went with General. They've never used it again, but it was a time and place. And stop me if I've told the story before, but it sold so well that if it was a record, it would have gone copper. That's my mom bought a box, my dad bought a box. I think my brother might have bought a box. That's how great it was. And I realized that maybe that's not my calling. Sales is more my calling. So yeah, I have done one before. And look, I feel so blessed when John Huber and Tim Osgener, when they send me a cigar and they say, Miguel, I'm working on this, let me know what you think. I feel such an honor to even say that I partaked that little bit in making a cigar. It is a lot of fun, but I don't care what you do in this business, media, rep, whatever. Everyone's dream is to make their own cigar. I've had that dream come true. It was one of those non-hit records, you know what I mean? And it was a lot of fun, and it'll be a memory I cherish for the rest of my life. And once in a while, I'll walk into a shop and someone will hand me a Salutum to smoke, and it's just a cool feeling, you know. I leave it up to the experts.
Not yet. One more, and I promise
Not
you.
yet, he says.
So, what's your favorite pairing besides rum with cigars?
Well, I think that when you're smoking cigars, there are certain flavor components of a cigar that are very universal. I think coffee, espresso, chocolate, earthy characteristics, leather, those are kind of notes that kind of float across all cigars. And then other nuances can happen with different tobaccos, saltiness, sweetness, and such. So if you would have asked me 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I would have just told you rum and Coke Zero. That's it, buddy. That's all I pair a cigar with. After the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, if anyone knows, I travel 3 to 4 weeks a month, every month for the last 21 years, right? I'm never home. So when the pandemic hit, I was stuck at home. And my wife, who's amazing, we've been together 22 years, she said, you need a hobby. You're driving me crazy. So she bought me a fishing pole because we live on a lake here. And she bought me an espresso machine. And I fell in love with coffee, something I had never drank my entire life. I was not into coffee, didn't understand coffee, but it makes a lot of sense because when you're in Jalapa in Nicaragua, for example, you have the coffee being grown at a very high altitude in the mountains, and the runoff, the sediment kind of feed into the valley where the tobacco is being grown. What grows together goes together. So I've really learned the appreciation of a great coffee, an oily, beautiful, right roasted coffee pairing up with a cigar. So I would say Coke Zero, rum, and a beautiful espresso or something of that characteristic pairs up incredible with a cigar. And if for the people out there who don't drink alcohol, I will tell you what, a good glass bottle root beer goes great with a cigar. If you came up smoking cigars in Cincinnati, Ohio, there was a gentleman by the name of John Bell who owned a shop called Bell's House Tobacco. He's retired now. The shop's still around, but he's retired. When you walked in his store and he didn't know who you were, the first thing he would do is put a Barks root beer in your hand and sell you a cigar. And if you grew up in Cincinnati in the cigar industry, that is a memory that I'll always cherish. So I tell guys, look, if you don't drink, and pick up a good root beer, man.
Right. Is it time?
I think it's time.
I think it's time.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right. So the number this week is a little tricky only because the study that I found is a study done during a 5-year period. I'm not going to give you the exact 5-year period because it'd be too easy to Google what the 5 years are. But I'll say it was a 5-year period recently.
Okay.
And it determined that during this 5-year period, 43 people were killed doing this.
COVID, says David Floyd.
More than 43 people died, buddy.
More than 43.
Allegedly.
Workplace accident?
Yes, workplace accident.
Is this inside a building or outside a building?
The vast majority of these, I believe, took place outside.
Changing light bulbs.
No, it's not changing light bulbs.
Vaping.
Okay.
Oh, it's not vaping. That would not be well, it could be a workplace accident, but you wouldn't be unless you worked for a vaping company. That wouldn't really count.
It happened outside.
Most of them happened outside.
Oh shit, parachuting.
Not parachuting.
How many again?
43 people during this 5-year period.
Changing the tire on their car outside of work.
Not changing a tire on a car.
Farming?
It's not farming.
Were animals involved?
Animals are not involved.
Was this an accident, a workplace accident, or was this inflicted on somebody?
Yeah, workplace accident. These would not be intentional or anything like that. They would be accidental deaths.
Swallowed up in a vat brewery, in a brewery vat.
No. There are approximately every year, I'll give another hint here. Each year worldwide, there are approximately 7,000 injuries that during and for this particular 5-year study, 43 deaths out of those 7,000 injuries per year.
Wood chipper?
Not wood chippers.
Grain silo.
Not grain silo. It's a particular type of industry.
The oil
ran over at a car dealership.
No.
The oil industry?
Not the oil industry.
I would say firefighting, but there's more than 44.
No, there's more than that.
The people that take the grocery carts back in killed.
Oh no, it's not.
Ran over.
It's not that. I would be curious. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Smelting?
It is not smelting.
Construction zone?
No, it's not construction related.
Rolling cigars on your thigh outside the factory.
There you go.
Definitely not that.
Forklifts.
Not forklifts.
So as many times as I've been on this show, this is the longest I feel like we've ever gone to answer this question. So this one is difficult. This one's very, very tough.
Some of them go for a while. So again, this is a very particular industry. It is a workplace accident. It is a
hot dog making.
Most of it, not hot dogs.
Zoo.
Not zoos. Most of them happen outdoors. Is electricity involved? No, not typically.
Hmm.
I think it'd be very rare. It's not firearms related.
Breakdance fighting.
Not the 80s.
Okay.
It could be breakdance fighting.
Skateboard?
Not skateboards.
Really?
It's an industry that most of us utilize on a regular to semi-regular basis.
Amazon centers.
Not Amazon centers.
Pole dancing.
Not pole dancing.
I want to say, I don't know if this is work related, but I feel like I would love to know how many people die from literally following the driving routes on Apple Maps or Google Maps, and they like drive off a bridge or something because they're so intent on following exactly what that's been, goes down a one-way street. That's nothing to do with that.
Oh yeah, no, it's not that.
Getting your shirt caught in a car wash.
Not a car wash.
Gyms.
Not gyms.
This is outdoors, huh? Heat exhaustion.
Not heat exhaustion. It's so I'll say that this is a question. I can't believe nobody has asked this question yet. Vehicles are involved.
Okay.
Traffic guys.
Like traffic cops?
Yeah.
No.
How about working the people that work on the highways?
No.
School crosswalks.
No. There are lots, and remember this. I'm giving so many hints for this one. There are lots of different kinds of vehicles.
Okay.
Got to be something with the highway.
Street basketball.
Doesn't have to be.
Demolition derby.
Not street basketball, not demolition derby.
Now, is it that you're in Minnesota? Does this have to do with snow plows and things like that?
Nope. There are lots of different kinds of vehicles. Lots of different
motorcycles, little motorcycle.
Motorcycles.
It's not racing. It's not crash derby.
It has nothing to do with side cars on motorcycles. We're going that weird. No. Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Snowmobile.
Not snowmobiles. Not gas stations. Not electric bicycles.
But it's work related.
The people who die are working in pretty much every case when they are
road construction.
Accidentally killed. Not road construction. What other kinds of vehicles are there? Think of different
on land?
modes of transportation.
Are we talking about on land?
Tricycles.
The deaths happen on land, but
okay,
there is a huge hint. I don't know how much better
when people put the boats in the water.
Nope, that's a good guess though.
Deaths from an
boating
airplane crash.
Boating, some kind of boating. People attaching.
Justy's on the right track.
Some kind of airplane here. Airport workers, plane crash.
Go back.
Airport workers.
So this is Justy's got it. This is ground crews at airports.
Wow, 43 people die from what? From being
So most of them, it says.
I pack so much clothes on my travel.
Let me find it here.
Caught in a conveyor belt loading your bags.
Most of them were getting struck by one of the ground vehicles. If they're working on the ground crew, they get struck by either a plane or one of the baggage handling vehicles or one of the what do they call them? The skyway, the ones that have the stairs on them.
Yeah.
And they get struck by those vehicles because it's super loud on those ground crews. So they all wear earmuffs and they can get struck by a vehicle, not looking behind them, or somebody's not paying attention.
And they always have the bright colored things on too, and they still get hit. Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah. So in that 5-year study, which took place from 2017 to 2021, Flight Safety Foundation reported 75 fatal airliner accidents, resulting in 43 ground crew fatalities.
Wow.
And specific types of accidents, very, very few of those were related specifically to airline or airplane crashes. The vast majority were struck by ground transportation or ground equipment.
You guys are familiar with Tyler Jeffrey, who owns Visa Cigars.
Yeah.
He works out there with the baggage crew and things like that. That's his job. So Tyler, if you're listening, buddy, watch out. I don't want to put your initials on Las Calaveras. You know that something happens to you, buddy. Be careful out there. We need more horny cigars.
Well, let's just keep him, in our thoughts and prayers. Get his cigar brand kicking, so he doesn't have to do that anymore. So he can just work in the cigar business full time.
They say flying is the safest way of travel, right? And I wonder, on a normal year, if more people are lost on the ground crew than people dying in plane crashes. I mean, that is a wild statistic, brother.
Yeah, I think it's probably still more that are lost in actual plane crashes. But
yeah, one plane goes down, you're losing 100 people.
Yeah, and the vast majority of plane crashes are small aircraft, single or small double engine aircraft. Dual engine aircraft that's they just have equipment failure and things like that. And the large passenger airliners, the crashes for those are actually extremely rare.
Yeah, I mean, I know lately we've been hearing about a lot of it happening lately, but that is such a weird statistic because that within itself it's so safe to you know what I mean?
Well, with the whole Numero de los Muertos thing, it's like, what we've been doing this show so long. It's like, how many more ways are there to die? So I've been like scratching, under the sand, trying to find new stats to throw up on the show. And I was like, okay, we've done airplane crashes. We've done last week we did wingsuits. And I was like, what's another way at like an airport? Oh, the guys who work on the ground crew. So I started looking it up. And unfortunately, the only thing I could find that had any relevant data was that 5-year study from 2017 to 2022, rather.
Well, kudos to you for always finding these interesting and weird facts. That's one of the things I love about this show is it's not just cigars. It's we talk about these funny things or these crazy happenings. And it's just, I mean, look, man. A lot of your listeners are going to use this in a conversation in a cigar shop next week. Let me tell you this stat I heard.
I love it.
That's crazy. That's wild. I mean, we've had some wild ones that I've been on with the show where you just almost drop your jaw. You just can't believe these things. But
absolutely.
That is wild. Yeah. Well, hopefully we've had 0 fatalities of any cigar cutter deaths. So until that happens, that won't make the show. But I think we're pretty far at 0.
Yeah, so far that's still at 0. But I mean, you never know. You guys got
never say never.
Yeah,
maybe been some fingers cut off here.
Yes, there has. Yeah, I've been in a few shops where some guys.
Yeah, I lost a chunk of my pinky once in a cigar cutter.
So did somebody else I know.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
All right, so that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, I'm actually going to remember this week to put the reveal of this week's Spirit of Mystery in the right spot. So now we're going to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. And as you can see, I've barely any left of this week's Spirit of Mystery. And I'll say it's good. It's not blowing my skirt up. It's not something that I would go out and pursue multiple bottles of. Would I buy a bottle of this? I think I would. It's a little bit simple, but that's not a bad thing. It's
is this a bourbon? Is this a bourbon that you're going to review?
Yeah,
it is a bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's funny is every week you say it's finished in something else. This is actually finished in a port.
I don't taste that at all. I don't get any of those port wine cask notes from this one, except, I mean, it's a little funky, but the funkiness is really super mild. So I really don't get a lot of the cask finish on this.
And it is 86 proof.
So it's low proof. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have heat to it.
Do you want to guess?
I mean, I'm what, like 2 for 80?
You're 5 for 8.
5 for 80? 5 for 100, something like that. I don't know.
You could be a Major League Baseball team with that record.
That's true. I don't know. Port cask, Basil Hayden's.
Nope.
Yeah, that's my only guess.
Angel's Envy.
Wow,
that's some popular stuff.
I didn't know the Angel's Envy port wine was such low proof. That surprises me. I had no idea it was such a low proof whiskey.
That's what I'm here for, bud.
Well, they will not be sponsors of the show going forward.
Yeah, we're okay with that.
No, look, Angel's Envy, all the expressions of Angel's Envy extremely popular at cigar events I go to. There's always Angel's Envy on the table. I'm not too well versed on bourbons. I don't know which ones, but there's always an Angel's Envy. I can tell you that.
There's a bottle right there.
Hey.
That's not the one I just drank. That one's actually, that bottle's not open yet. I don't want to open that bottle yet. I don't know when.
Well, obviously, you probably don't. You probably traded away now.
I might, actually. I might. All right, let's jump into the lightning round brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 114-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right, Miguel, you have been on the show so many times, and we are grateful for every last visit. But that also means we got to come up with fresh, new lightning round questions for you.
I got one right off the bat.
Go for it.
So you just got your own talk show, late night talk show, right?
Yes.
Who is going to be your first guest? And 2 parts. It could be alive or dead.
See, now when you say live, I would I had thought about this question before, believe it or not. One of the human beings on this earth that interests me so much is LeVar Burton. Reading Rainbows. He was such a big part of my childhood. It made me fall in love with reading that I love to this day, and I've passed that love of reading on to my kids, that I would love nothing more than to interview LeVar Burton if the guest had to be alive. I think he has had such an impact on people of my age as being young and falling in love with reading, and I would love to interview that guy. If it was someone that was not with us anymore, I would love to interview Ulysses S. Grant. He was a president. He was a general. He was born right outside of my hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. He loved cigars. He smoked pipes. What an incredible story. If you've ever read his biography, that guy I would love to interview because I could talk cigars. We could talk alcohol. We could talk Civil War. We could just talk love of America. That guy I think would be an amazing person to interview.
Nice.
I like that.
So I just found, I've been looking through this list of questions for years, and this is the first time this one has ever jumped out at me, and it's a really interesting question. So if you were to be stuck on a deserted island for the rest of your life and you had a choice, you could either be stuck there alone for the rest of your life or with your worst enemy for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Repeat that question.
Stuck on a desert island for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. You can choose to stay there alone for the rest of your life or with your worst enemy for the rest of your life.
That's actually pretty easy for me, but let's see.
Well, I would say that humans are never meant to be alone. We're not solitary creatures. We were meant to be around people. And I can't think that I have a true worst enemy in this world. But if I did, I would like to believe that we would be stuck on an island and you'd have to survive. And by the end of the lives, I would make that person an enemy to a friend to feel like a family member. That would be my thing. I'd rather be stuck there with my worst enemy to change that relationship into something meaningful. And if it didn't get better, then I could just eat them. You know what I mean? I could just roast them. I could eat them. I could have their ribs. You know, so you got to think in that instance, like, are they tasty? Do they have a little fat on them? Fat means flavor. Those are all things that I would take into consideration. Could I eat them if we didn't become better friends? So worst enemy.
I totally agree with you. I would hate to be alone. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would have to have somebody there.
Well, and that actually kind of leads into this other question that I just found. And I'm going to kind of the question's okay, but I'm going to make my own sort of version of it. So if you could only choose one meat protein for the rest of your life in a taco, so there's so many different kinds of tacos in the world. You can put basically any meat protein in a taco you want to. What's the one, if you had to choose one for the rest of your life, and not the enemy on the deserted island, taco, but
yeah. I thought about that. I thought about going there. So my favorite thing to order at a Mexican restaurant is called tacos gobernador, which is governor's tacos. And they're made with shrimp and melted cheese and a little bit of usually green pepper and onion. And they're in a corn tortilla, and it's usually all melted. They put it on the flat top. They melt it all, and then they scoop it up with the tortilla. It's called governor's tacos, tacos gobernador. That is my favorite taco. So it would be shrimp, camarones in Spanish. Shrimp would be the one. I'd never get tired of shrimp. I could eat shrimp 5-6 days a week. I will never get tired of shrimp. So shrimp would be the answer. I'm a seafood fanatic. So anything out of the ocean, give it to me. I'm going to eat it.
Oh, just hearing about that taco and the flat top and the melted cheese and seafood and cheese don't usually go together, but that sounds incredible.
You know what I love about Mexican cuisine is that anywhere around the world, you never put cheese with seafood. Like Italy, it's frowned upon. France, it's frowned upon. But Mexicans are just like, screw it, man. We love cheese. We love seafood. Let's mix them together and put them in a flour tortilla or a corn tortilla. That's tacos gobernador. Keep your eye out for that.
But hold on, though. If you do a fettuccine Alfredo, you put shrimp in it. It's got cheese on it.
That's American.
Yeah,
that is an American Italian dish. That is not how it's done in Italy.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Learn something every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So one last question, and another food related question, just because we love
food. We all love food. Absolutely.
So potatoes is another one of those types of foods that you can cook in so many different ways. Native to the same
place that tobacco's native. South America, by the way.
South America.
There you go.
So what is the best way out of the thousands of different ways to eat a potato? What is the best way to prepare and eat a potato?
So potatoes are the great kind of blank slate of the food or the culinary world. Like you said, you can smash it, cut it, fry it. You could do so many things with a potato. My good friends, Puerto Ricans, they prefer to replace potato with plantains, but you could do the same thing with the plantain. But
yeah,
the way the French and the people from Belgium, look, those two people, they fight over who invented the French fry. But when you just fry a thin potato to the outside is crispy, you double fry it, the inside is fluffy and white, and you hit it with just some beautiful sea salt. That's all you need. That's all you need. Water to soak the potato in, cut it, fry it in some oil. You can fry it in either a fat or regular oil, whatever fat you should decide to fry it in. You just hit it with a little salt. Potato, whatever you're frying in, and salt, those three ingredients. I don't know anyone in this world who doesn't like a potato. And you can choose to dip it in mayonnaise or ketchup or mustard or whatever you'd like. But the truth is, you can eat it just by itself. There's nothing better than a properly made French fry. The Belgian and the French. I don't want to make anyone angry in your viewing audience because they both claim they invented it. But that is the best way to have a potato, hands down. There's nothing better than a good French fry.
I honestly, I love that answer. It's a great answer.
My wife would agree with you 100%.
And there's if potato is one of those foods that if you cook it properly, and like you said, Miguel, if you season it properly, like if you get a great velvety mash or a great crunchy outside, fluffy inside, salty French fry, or scallop, au gratin with melty cheese, and if it's seasoned properly and cooked properly.
What are you doing with your hand there, Miguel?
I'm getting excited, buddy. I'm getting excited. Listen, I'm telling you what, I've been on a journey for the last year. I've added some new proteins to my diet that I never ate. So I'm going to restaurants I've never been to before. And I'm on the search for the greatest French fry in a burger joint. And so far, I've come to the conclusion that Five Guys is the best fast food French fry in the market right now. And so I'm in love with potatoes. Potatoes are native to South America. A lot of people don't know that. And potatoes, there's purple potatoes, there's white potatoes, there's brown potatoes, all different types of potatoes in the world. And the potato saved Ireland, by the way. A lot of people think potatoes are from Ireland, but the Great Famine. And potatoes obviously play a huge part in Idaho. A lot of great potatoes grown in this country. It's just a vegetable that is so incredibly diverse. But literally, if you fry a potato, all you need is salt. You don't need any other seasoning. Just good kosher or sea salt, one of those two, and that is a great meal on its own. And it's got carbs, which we all love carbs. Good Lord, they're tasty.
Oh, amen to that. Amen to that.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into notable smokables. So each of us are going to name a cigar we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for many decades that we smoked for the first time in a very, very long time, or it could be a brand new cigar that we smoked for the first time ever. Now, obviously, Miguel, you're smoking mostly your own stuff, but if you get a chance to jump outside of your own portfolio, what's something you smoked recently that stood out to you?
You know, I was gifted a cigar by my good friend Jack Tarano at Espinosa Cigars. This is only 2 years they've been involved in TAA, which is Tobacco Association of America. And they've only been involved with it 2 years. So I'm glad that they're there because Jack is like a family member of mine. And their first release was fantastic. They did a Murcielago release for the first year. It was great. But the one they did at the end of last year that I've been smoking nonstop is called the Chicaca. It is a Murcielago, Connecticut, incredible cigar. They knocked it out the park. And what I love so much is that when Jack Tarano was hired at Espinosa, Eric asked, Jack, what's your favorite kind of cigar? He loved Connecticut's. And Eric's response was, you chose the wrong company, brah. We don't do many Connecticut's, brah. And what I love is after all these years, I don't know if Jack had anything to do with it, but the fact that they released a Connecticut Murcielago and named it Chicaca, which is a phenomenal name from Pet Detective. I love that cigar, and you got to give kudos. You got to give your flowers when a friend of yours in the industry creates something that you love. That cigar was absolutely awesome, man.
Yeah.
Jay Davis, thank you, man. That Belgian Blue was awesome. Thank you, brother.
That Chicago was on our top 10 list for 2024.
No, it belonged there, brother. That is a great choice. What a wonderful cigar.
Justy, what's your notable this week?
Well, I have one that Raul, I believe, gave to me earlier this week. The Espinosa also, Las Six Provincias.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Good series there. Made by that project was spearheaded by Eric's son. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's great to see that generational influence. That's a great cigar.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Raleigh?
Mine was the Leaf by Oscar Broadleaf. Limited edition. Just came out this year.
2025 limited edition.
It is phenomenal.
Oscar Valladares he's talented.
Oscar's fantastic, putting out some great cigars. I just ran into him and the whole team down there at Texas Cigar Fest. Oscar does incredible things out of Honduras, and what a wonderful guy, what a wonderful company, good people over there.
My notable this week was the Room 101 15th anniversary.
I haven't smoked it yet. I've heard good things.
I'll say it's a really good cigar. It's not my favorite of the Room 101 anniversaries.
That was last year's by far.
Yeah, the 14th was insane. But the 15th is still a very good cigar. So, and I know there's still quite a few shops that have some on the shelf. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know there's still shops that have them on the shelf. So
I'm really looking forward to his 19th anniversary, because that's when you really hit your stride at 19. I'm really looking forward to that 19th anniversary.
I love the fact that there's one every year. It's like a 3rd anniversary cigar and an 11th anniversary.
You want to talk about not taking ourselves too serious. Matt Booth is a perfect guy to talk about. I mean, you do an anniversary every year. That's kind of fun. You're supposed to do it every 5 or every 10 years. That is kind of tongue-in-cheek and really fun. I'm waiting for someone to put out a new limited edition cigar where there's literally one cigar in a coffin shipped to one retailer, super limited, as a fun to not take ourselves serious. You know what I mean? Or, someone to do like a 17 3-month 20-day anniversary cigar, something fun like that. I think it would be hilarious, but that's when you don't take yourself too serious, and that's kind of the topic of the day. I love that.
That's awesome. This is the new limited edition 394th day anniversary cigar.
We made it 360. That's awesome.
All right, so let's bring our viewers up to speed on some cool coming attractions we have. So next week, May 5th. Holy crap, it's May.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. We have Chris Duque from from everywhere, really. I mean, you see him at the Dunbarton booth at the PCA trade show. You see him all over social media. He's just one of those cigar sort of ambassadors that is fun to talk to and an absolute blast. So we cannot wait to learn about his story on the show next week. And then the following week, May 12th, Stephen Finley, the Chief. So you know him as a part of the son of Bob the Cigar Guy. Some really cool people from here in the States. And we loved talking to Bob a few weeks ago and cannot wait to talk to Stephen and, hear about his experiences with cigars and, of course, smoking meats, whatever it is. I know it's going to be a great conversation.
French fries, all types of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Miguel, brother, if you would please,
yes,
as always, give our viewers and listeners an idea. Where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Crown Heads and Oz Family Cigars?
Well, I would always tell everyone, if you're a fan of Crown Heads or Oz Family Cigars, you can always check out our website. You can always check us out on Facebook. But the truth is, the best place to keep up with us is on Instagram. If you follow the Crowned Heads, John Huber handles that social media. We don't, have someone running that. You will be directly in contact with John Huber. He's the one that creates everything in the Crowned Heads world. Follow him on Instagram. And on Instagram, you can also follow Oz Family Cigars and find out all new exciting things with Oz Family Cigars. Tim Osner has a personal Instagram page as well, not too hard to find. Or you can follow me. Mine is MIGSCH1980. Very simple. First 3 letters of my first name, 3 letters of my last name, and 1980 on Instagram as well. You can keep up on what we're doing cigar-wise, unlimited release stuff, core stuff, packaging updates, hats, swag, all the exciting things that are happening on with our company. And I always say, please go out there, support your local brick and mortar shop, pick up some Crown Heads and some Oz Family cigars. If they don't carry our cigars, let them know you want them to carry their cigars. Have them reach out to us. And if not, your favorite online retailer is a great place to pick up our cigars as well. This industry is amazing. We really love when you spend time checking us out on social media. And we do have a Facebook group called Oz Heads. So Oz and Crown Heads together, Oz Heads. Come join us over there. We just talk cigars and have a good time, post pictures. Outside of that, keep smoking, keep supporting the industry. Let's keep this thing going strong for the next generation.
Nice. Thank you, brother. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. Tonight is no exception whatsoever. So thank you, brother, so much for giving us your evening.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you do. What you guys are doing is incredible. You bring all these listeners from around the country listening and talking, and you guys play a vital role in the popularity of premium cigars in the hobby. So I raise a cheers to each and every one of you for taking time out of your day promoting this incredible hobby. So cheers to each of you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Cheers.
Well, viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so very much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We are so grateful for you spending a little bit of time with us, learning some more about the fabulous industry that we love so much.
Yes.
We are on all of actually,
mostly,
I gotta start with this first. So click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button. And don't forget to leave comments, to click on like, to click on subscribe, and all that fun stuff. If you have any questions for us, you could email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. If you are one of our wonderful audio podcast listeners, thank you so much for listening to How About That Cigar. When you drive down the road, when you work out, whatever it is you do, when you listen to your favorite audio podcast, thanks so much for making us a part of it. Follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. You'll find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.